On today's show, the guys talk about documenting your conference experience. When you attend a conference, you take in a lot of information. How do you keep up with it all? Let the guys help you organize your thoughts. We've also got a Google tip of the week and more. That's up next on EduTech Guys. EduTech Guys Radio. Radio.edutechguys.com.
The opinions expressed on the site and its programs are those of participants and not intended to and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of any specific educational entity, sponsor, company, state, or government agency.
Hello and welcome to this episode of EduTech Guys Radio. I'm your host, David Henderson.
Hey, and I'm Jeff Madlock.
Awesome. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, it's going to be a great show today. As we're ramping up for FETC, we came up with a great idea of some topics that we need to cover. But before we do that, let's talk about getting in touch with us. Hey, we want to find us on the web. Just go out to the web, go to Google, and type in EduTechGuys, EduTechGuys, and you will find us on the web. I promise we'll come up on the old Google. You can find us at Twitter, twitter.com/EduTechGuys. Heck, just put a slash in the EduTechGuys, NBC.com, CNN.com, you name it. No, I'm just kidding.
I was like, what?
we haven't been, no, you won't find us on CNN.com because we haven't used the S whole word at any time lately, so that won't be out
Not
there.
the whole word.
Not the
parts
whole
of
word.
it.
Yeah, but you can head over to the website, drop down to the bottom of the page. You'll find an interesting little form there you can fill out and tell us how wonderful we are and that we should probably not lose our day jobs. But go down to the bottom and check that out. Also,
hey, you know what? We love making this show. We love doing the podcast. We love all the feedback that we get from all you guys out there and appreciate that so much. If you would like to sponsor the EduTech Guys and help us continuing spreading the love, then, hey, you know what? We do the show. We do conference appearances, live conference coverage, all that kind of good stuff. Visit edutechguys.com/sponsors to find out how you can help keep the EduTech Guys train rolling and get your name and or company into markets that you might not currently occupy.
bingo.
So there you go.
Yep. So, yeah, today's show, David and I had sent David a text not long ago about a blog topic that I was looking at because, you know, we blog so much.
Hey, that is one of our what do you call those resolutions for 2018?
Yeah, we are the third week of January,
more.
and I've done dropped the ball on that one. And I am a fat ginger walking across a court, kicking a ball, trying to catch it. So every time I bend down, I kick it another 3 feet in front of me. And I just scream, just can of corn. That's all. Diet Coke and a can of corn. I'll be all right. Give me just a second. Let me catch my breath. No, so anyway, I'd sent it to him, and we were talking about, everybody goes to conferences, and this is really true. I was talking to my superintendent about this just the other day. I said, it's funny. People would rather watch a 3-minute video where you discussed 8 points of Google apps or something than read for 30 seconds of reading it. It's really kind of true. People like to be entertained. And if you're now it has to be the right video. That's just the kicker part. It does have to be the right video. So if somebody will watch a video, but there's the thing we were talking about is documentoring. Is that a new word?
Yeah, I think
we've come up with a new word on EduTech Guys.
Documentoring. That's right.
Documenting your conference experience.
Oh,
that's the show it's going to be today.
That's right.
But, you know, when you get there, there's what's interesting. You've done this for a long time. You've documented when you go to conferences.
Yeah, one of the things, and I can't even remember when I started, many years ago. We're talking, 10, 15 years ago. One of the things that my supervisor at the time, I started all of this. One of the things that she asked about was, she said, okay, anytime you go to a conference, I want you to document the sessions you went to, partly as a way to, for all intents and purposes, prove that I went to the session, but also as a way to come back and be able to share that information with other folks. One of the things that I do is create professional development for technology education for teachers. And so as part of a way to help develop some of that content, taking notes on the conference sessions that I attended, it was a good way to organize my thoughts and kind of keep things together. So one of the things that we that I started doing is I started using my blog as a way to keep notes. So when I go to a session, I sit down and I fire up. Now my blog is located at Blogger, so I fire up my Blogspot site, and the title of my post is the name of the session. And sometimes the date, sometimes not, that depends, but it's always the name of the session that I'm attending. And then one of the things that kind of I've evolved into is in the body of the message itself, in the post, I'll have kind of a why I chose this particular session, what I got out of it, or what we talked about rather, and then kind of a wrap up my opinion, what was my takeaway. And so that really has helped me, again, keep my notes organized. But because I do it publicly, that lets other folks who are either at the conference attending other sessions see it, or the folks who aren't able to attend, they're able to at least get insight on the sessions that I've attended through me posting it publicly there online. So I think it's a great way for other folks to do the same thing. Just if you're already not blogging, then it's very easy to start one up either at Blogger or WordPress, or there's a myriad of free blogging sites, and you just come up with your own particular format, or feel free to steal mine by all means, and just as you're making notes, because most likely you're making notes anyway, just type them out in as a blog post. What the other really cool thing is, if you're not comfortable with kind of live blogging, then you can still type it up and just save the draft.
Sure.
Go back, edit it, and then when you're ready, publish it out there and let the world see what you learned from the session you went to.
Yeah. And so I'm going to throw out another way. David's way is great. So if you already don't have a blog, or you don't feel like setting one up or getting into all that information, trying to do all that, it's not hard by any means. But if you just want to find something to help you take notes with, and you're already a G Suite user, you're already a Google user, say at your school, I highly recommend Google Keep. Google Keep is free, and it does some amazing, amazing things. What's really nice is you can put the actual extension inside your Chrome. So if you are on your machine while you're there and you're visiting websites that the presenter is throwing out, you can use Google Keep to add those websites with notes into your Google Keep. Now, what's great about Google Keep is you can actually pop into Google Keep, and at any time you want, make an audio recording, or take a picture, or take some notes, or make a checkbox even. Or you can actually start a note-taking, and it'll give you a title and the area for the notes. And at any point inside that notes, you can add a photo, or you can actually choose an image that you already have. You can add a drawing. You can add a recording. It's an audio recording, or you can add a checkbox. So you have this ability with Google Keep to make some elaborate, really amazing notes. What's really cool there is you can share that with collaborators. You can share that with other people inside your G Suite system, or inside actually anyone that has a Google mail address, or any email address for that fact. So Google Keep is a really, really easy way to take notes. Yes, just like anything, it's not just going to make taking notes easy. That's the part. You still have to take notes.
Right.
There's the interesting thing. We're not going to get into, the steps of taking notes, although I can tell you that, take notes in a way that you're going to represent them to someone. Be clear and concise. Listen for the big topics. Don't write down the small stuff.
Right.
You can't over in the side if you've got time, but you're trying to make sure that you can take that summary back to someone else so that they're exciting about it, so you can share inside a quick, 40-second share with everyone what happened in that session. Now think about it. If you're going to FETSI 2018 and you're going to do 10 sessions or more in a day, at 40 seconds, you're at 400 seconds just for that. You're going to get too long. And, someone's not going to want to wade through all that, especially if you start doing 2 or 3 minutes at a time. Then you're really going to be putting me to sleep. I can tell you that. But there's that. But Google Notes, blogging, any note-taking app, honestly, you could use Bear, Scratchpad, Notes on a Mac, Apple. You could open up a Word document. I'm sorry, not a Word document. A document in Google.
Well, either way, if you had Word on your thing.
So anything you want to. But now the cool thing about Docs is it will actually do the table of contents for you. So if you're actually working through that way. But then so once you've got all this stuff, then there's the next part. You take notes all day long. thinking about, putting your stuff together. And then that evening, this is the real key here, is that you want to turn it out that evening. You want to go back. Now, you might have to go to some receptions and some mixers, and you're going out with the crew to eat dinner, and then you might be going to a keynote later that evening or something. But you want to be able to turn it out really quickly when you get back home. When you get back to the hotel room, you're looking at all your tchotchkes, you're getting all your stuff together, making sure you didn't lose your tag for the day.
Right.
So you were back to, now, how do I get this out there? Well, you could record it in an audio. You could reread it the way that we do things. Or you could use video. A couple of other ones. You could share through Bunsy. You could use Bunsy to make a wonderful presentation about what you did that might entice not just your fellow educators, but your students.
Sure.
You could also use something like Flipgrid for video, or WeVideo, just to take the video and put it together and cut it up and then make a quick video. Now, that's your choice. And that's just my opinion on it is I really think since video is hot right now, that would be a lot of fun. I mean, I think if you could integrate, especially something like Flipgrid or WeVideo, where you can have the text come up on the screen with you so that you can keep your topics rolling and you can talk about how your day went, that'll be a pretty neat wrap up of the day.
Yeah. And I one of the things that when I'm doing this and kind of my perspective, I completely agree with what Jeff's saying. Mine's a little different in that, like if I'm blogging a session, then each session is its own post. And I would say that's how you do, that's how I would take all of my notes. I would keep every session as a separate entry. Just so, like Jeff said before, you don't want to get into 20 minutes necessarily of you talking about the whole day of sessions. Rather, break that up into pieces and parts. Now, by the same token, if you break it up into pieces and parts and then you want to incorporate all of those pieces and parts into one video, then, by all means, that's a great way to do kind of a summary of the day type video. One of the things that I know is really popular right now is on using pen and paper or pencil or whatever your writing utensil of choice is. Sketchnoting, where you're taking some traditional word notes, but then as the presenter is presenting certain concepts, you're drawing pictures that help you mentally visualize what that presenter's talking about, what their points are trying to get across, and more importantly, how that applies to your situation.
Yeah.
And my perspective on that is, if you're doing that or that's something you want to get into, by all means, do that and then take pictures of what you've drawn, make the video or make a blog
post. Put them in
post.
Bunsy as a presentation or any kind of presentation. Yeah, anything. Google Slides. I like that idea. And the key about that is that you're not going to be Van Gogh the very first time you start scratching out that stuff. You're not going to be Charles Schulz. You're going to get better at making sketch notes the more you draw. And the best part is that you'll start to learn how you like to watch the flow, and you'll learn that people like to see those graphics too. When you have, your graphic and an arrow drawn and your cloud or whatever you're putting out there, people enjoy that as much. And that's David's exactly right. That's another one. You could actually video that and then narrate it with your own voice. That makes it even better.
Yeah,
that's even
absolutely.
one more way to do it. So there are so many opportunities for you to share. And I think what we're trying to get across here is we're not telling you need to use WeVideo or you need to use GoPro cameras or anything like that. What we're trying to tell you is you need to share, period.
Right. You need to document and share.
That's it.
Document what you're doing as you're doing it. A lot of times I know there are a lot of folks that they go to the session and watch the session and then take notes after the fact. And that's fine if that works for you and if it truly works for you. But in my experience, rarely does that pan out because after the session, you're trying to remember, right? You're trying to go back, you're trying to remember, even if you do it right after the session, you're trying to remember, but at the same time, your brain is already focusing itself on whatever it is the next thing you have to do. Plus, if you're trying to do that in the same room as that session, there's a good chance that the next session is on its way in. You got people filtering in, you have the other presenters, you got people shutting down their presentation and other people setting up for their presentation. It's just it's not conducive to taking notes in that manner.
Exactly.
So I would say whatever your preferred method and or methods of documentation are, that you do that real time as it's happening. You don't have to share it real time. Now you can by all stretch. I mean, you can blog it out, you can tweet it, you can put it on Facebook, you can do a myriad of ways of sharing it out instantly if you want to, but you don't have to. You can take the notes, let them simmer, go back, edit, make some revisions, add the pictures, add drawings, do that kind of stuff. If you're going to make a video, then make a video out of it, but do that, later when you're back,
Right.
in, like Jeff said, in your hotel room, or I wouldn't necessarily even do it in my hotel room. I would find a place,
A spot. Yeah.
find a spot and
Have
record.
a coffee or a water or something. And sit down,
exactly.
relax,
Just
and
sit
go through it.
down, have a chill.
And the key to this, I think, is what you and I both would agree here, is that you got to take some notes for you.
Oh, absolutely.
And so that when you go back and read them later and prepare to do your summary and build this presentation, or build this summary for your viewers or your colleagues or your students, you need to make sure that you can read through those and go, oh, I can build something out of this.
Right.
So that's where, and it's not going to happen perfect the first time.
Oh, no, not at all.
So you'll get better at it as you do it, because you'll begin to take notes, knowing exactly what your final product is going to be. So you've
Right.
got to think about that final product a little bit before you begin to take notes. Like, okay, I'm going to make a presentation out of this, or it's going to be a static, presentation, or it's going to
Right.
be video or audio. So that's a big deal. And always outline. Because you don't want to bounce around. You don't want someone else to take the session and go, well, Jeff was an idiot, because that was nothing like the session. Because if you start off the whole thing with, well, he finished with a really cool video, and then at the beginning,
Yeah.
oh, sorry, hit the table.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, that's but definitely David's right. Get someplace comfortable. If it's your hotel room, it's your hotel room. But
Right.
if it's in the lobby or it's there still at the thing, I'm with you there. If you're good at that and you can leave a session and go find a quiet place at the conference and sit down and do it right then and get your summary all built, you're still not going to have time to do your audio or video. You're still going to have to do that
Right.
later. But it would be nice, and maybe that's a neat thing to do. I'm just thinking along this line. Maybe it'd be great to take notes and then try to do a quick summary afterwards.
Sure.
Just to jot it down, and then read those notes and read that summary and see how they gel. Maybe it might be some extra information. You've left the room.
Right.
You found a place. You sit down and then you summarize what you remember.
Yeah.
And then you look at your notes in the summary later, just to give you some more fodder for
Yeah.
the fire.
Exactly.
For the fire out there. When people go, oh, that must have been the greatest AR thing ever in the world. Yes, it was. It was.
It's something like that.
It was augmented dinosaurs in my face. It was great. So,
Oh my gosh.
well, anyway, hey, we'll wrap that up. I mean, but that's we felt like we're about to head out the door to FETSI, so
Yep.
we're thinking about we're going to be there talking to people pretty much back to back for 4 days, and that's a big deal. Is sharing, and that's what one of our biggest pushes is that you've just got to share information. We were talking about this with another one of my administrators not long ago. They're nervous to share. And I said, I can tell you, if 1,000 people view it, 500 are going to hate it and 500 are going to love it. And what you've got to do is understand that you're on the 500 that love it side. That's just the way it is. If I cook spaghetti, somebody's not going to like spaghetti. That's just the way it goes.
Right.
So
Well,
you're playing for the home team. So,
well, and to me, as a content creator in a myriad of venues, one of the things that I have learned over the years is whatever you're making, whatever you're producing, you have to do that. Honestly, you got to do it for you. I mean, it really is. It's for you to enjoy, even though, and I'm using enjoy in a very broad sense. But what I mean is that you're putting the content out there so that you can reference it later. If it turns out that 100 million other people like to reference it, great. If it turns out that no one else wants to reference that, it doesn't matter. You needed it. It's for you to refer to later. Right. And in the case of making notes and documenting your experience at these various sessions, at least from my perspective, like I said, many years ago, it was to show my boss what I was learning and what I was doing at the conference. At the bare minimum, I would argue that's exactly a great starting reason to document. A lot of times school districts or your employer, and we're in education, so we talk about that. But this stuff applies to any conference you go to.
Board, yeah.
I don't care if you are, if you're a medical equipment salesperson and you're at the National Medical Equipment Conference. This applies to you. And I believe that taking these notes and documenting what you're doing and what's going on and what you've learned shows your supervisors that the money they spent to send you to this conference was worth it because they see what you learned, they see those results.
Yeah.
And that's at the minimum. There's a whole bunch of other reasons to document and what you can get out of documenting and sharing and what have you. But ultimately, 99% of the time, someone else is footing your bill. You need to be able to justify why it was worth them to do that, and then also why they should send you next time.
I agree. You're exactly right. Cool, man.
Awesome.
Hey, listen, we'll take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back after this.
Take your message to the world. Bring EduTechGuys to your school for fun, interactive professional development. We'll help your teachers, students, and administrator reach today's mobile audience. Students can share classroom learning. Teachers can provide outside of the classroom help and instruction, and administrators can reach out to parents and the community. We'll not only show you how, but we'll have you doing it yourself before the day's end. Reach out to us on Twitter at EduTechGuys or drop us a line by visiting www.edutechguys.com. Bring EduTechGuys to your school, and we'll bring your school to the world.
Hey, welcome back. If you're enjoying the show, you probably enjoy the show even better if you saw us live. So where could you find us? That would be a great question. Well, right off the bat, you can find us next week at
FETC. That's right. We're going to be in Orlando, Florida, January 23rd through the 26th, broadcasting live from the FETC conference. And we've got, more than 50 people already signed up for slots. I mean, holy cow, it is going to be
It's more than that. It's
awesome.
It's like 66 or something like
see,
that.
Hey, you're giving me palpitations.
They keep coming in. Hey, ding, ding, 2 more just came in. So no. Hey, also in March the 23rd, I believe it is, that week of March 23rd, 24th, and 25th, and Hot Springs, Arkansas, you can catch us at the 2018 East Conference. We're very excited about being there. We missed it last year. We had some other things come up, and we were pre-scheduled in that. But this year, we will be on the floor interviewing some great teachers, great students, great people all the way around at the East Conference in Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Awesome. And then later in the summer of 2018, we will be up in Springdale at the Springdale Institute. And then we will also be at Flipgrid Live in Minneapolis. And that's even later in the summer. So all kinds of cool stuff going on. Once again, you can tune in radio.edutechguys.com for all the live conference coverage. And if you are interested in having us provide that conference coverage for your event, reach out to us. EduTechGuys.com. Fill out the form on the main page there at the bottom, and we'll get back in touch with you. We would love to come and provide live conference coverage for your event.
That's true. You can also hit us at contact@edutechguys.com, and that will reach both David and I, and Luigi, our background guy who schedules all of our appointments.
So Luigi.
Hey, Luigi, what are you doing back in there?
Hey, so...
well, no, I get to say it.
Okay.
Because we haven't done this in a while.
You're right.
So we're bringing one back because David had one that he's very excited about. So you know what time it is? It must be time for
Google Tip of the Week.
And David has a Google Tip of the Week. You have the comm, sir.
I've got it. So this just happened the day we are recording this. Google announced that they are adding a really cool feature to G Suite users, customers, whatever you want to call. And that is there's going to be a new security center for G Suite. It's going to have security analytics and best practices, all kinds of really cool stuff. Some sites have it now. It's going to be rolled out over the next few weeks. So what you can do is if you are a G Suite admin, you go into your admin console, go to security, and there will be a new option there for the security center. And I mean, they've got all kinds of really cool stuff. They've got a snapshot of important security metrics all in one place. You can stay ahead of potential threats. There are things you can do to reduce risk by adopting certain security health recommendations that Google has based on what's going on in your particular G Suite environment. I mean, it is very, very cool looking. Just all the different reports and the analytics that go with taking your specific situation and helping you make sure that your G Suite is as secure as it can be for your particular environment. Again, this was released on January 17th, so the very day we're recording this podcast, it was released, and they will be rolling it out over the next couple of weeks. So if you jump into your admin console and you don't have, under your security tab, if you don't have the security center yet, it is coming. But very, very cool. So there you go. That's Google tip of the week.
The Google tip of the week. That's awesome.
Awesome.
Hey, thanks, David, for the Google tip of the week. And we hope to see you soon. If you're coming to FETC 2018 in Orlando, Florida, David and I will be right inside the main doors. You won't miss us. We'll have a big signs.
It's huge.
If the llamas get here in time, we will have llamas. Possibly not, but I'm shooting for the llamas. No, we'll be right inside the door. You won't miss us. The signage will point you right to our direction. And are we this goofy in person? I am. David,
we are. We really
David's
are.
not the goofy one at all.
I'm kind of the straight man. I'm sort of the Abbott to his Costello.
But if I get him going, he can be pretty goofy. So
there you go.
Anyway, hey, thanks for listening to the show today. We hope to catch you next time. I'm Jeff Madlock.
I'm David Henderson.
We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to EduTechGuys Radio, radio.edutechguys.com.
The opinions expressed on the site and its programs are those of participants and not intended to and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of any specific educational entity, sponsor, company, state, or government agency.